couple of things. First thing, I mentioned this in my June part 2 reading wrap-up. I had some technical issues and kind of didn't get a bunch of stuff filmed. So this is going to be what I've read thus far in July. It's currently July 27th. And then I'll do like another one next week. And then I'll try and do a better schedule starting in August. We'll see what happens. Other thing, middle of July, I started a book club on Goodreads. It's just called like Shannon's TBR Book Club, but the point is I have a bunch of stuff that I need to read so I can get rid of it. So I thought if we read it together, it would, be motivating, blah, blah, blah. For July, since I started in the middle of the month, it was All's Well That Ends Well by Shakespeare. And yeah, I've got a discussion going on there. I'll try and remember to put a link down there. And yes, I'm going to get into the books I read. There's probably going to be a lot of them. Yeah. Okay. And as usual, I'm not going to mention the stuff I read to River. And because there is going to be so much in this video, I'm going to just tell you what I read, who wrote it, how many stars I gave it, and I might mention one or two things. I did mention this at the end of my last video, but I didn't realize it was in July, so I'm going to go ahead and mention it here. First thing I read in July was Rat Queens Volume 4, High Fantasies by Curtis J. Weeb. I gave this 4 stars. I still love this series, but this one, starting with this one, they changed the art style, and I don't like it as much. So I love the series, just don't love the art as much. Then I read Buffy the Vampire Slayer Retreat, which is Season 8, Volume 6 by Jane Espenson. I gave this 3 stars. Sorry if this is repetitious, but if you didn't watch the last video, you don't know this. I still enjoy this series, but it's kind of like if you watched Buffy the TV show, these are a continuation. And it's like when they ended the series and they decided to bring it back for another season, and it was still good, but it wasn't as good. That's the way the graphic novels are. For me, at least. So, I'm still reading them, but I'm just kind of like, It's Buffy, but at the same time, there's so much different. And I know that it's still Buffy because Joss Whedon was still doing these, but I don't know, it's just not quite the same as it started out. Also, my internet's very slow, and I'm waiting for the next page of Goodreads to come up because that's why I'm looking over here, as I'm looking at my Goodreads to remind me what I read. Okay. I read Sweet Tooth Volume 2 In Captivity by Jeff Lemire. I gave this 3 stars. At the beginning, I was trying to figure out, I liked it, but I was curious about the science, and I wasn't really sure. I'm loving this series. It's really good. I read Batman the Night of the Owls by Scott Snyder. That's 3 stars. I really enjoyed that Batman arc. Those were really good. I love those. I read Chew Volume 3, Just Desserts by John Layman. I gave this 5 stars. I am loving this series. It is so good. So good. And my library has volumes 1, 2, 4, and 12. It's a system. It's a library system. I love my library system. I can get practically anything. But this. So I'm having to order most of them out of system. So they take a while to get here, but I can't wait to get the next one. They're so good. Okay, then I read Empress Zenobia, Palmyra's Rebel Queen by Patricia Southern. I gave this 4 stars. It was really interesting. I learned a lot. There wasn't as much information on her as I would have liked. There was a lot of background and stuff, which, 1, there isn't a lot of information available, and 2, my husband is a Rome geek, and that's an understatement, so a lot of the backstory I was familiar with, but I understand why other people would need it. But it was well written. I enjoyed it. It was really good, and I did still learn a lot. Then I read The Story of Arthur Truelove by Elizabeth Berg. I gave this 4 stars. This was the book club pick for my local library, and I'm like the youngest one there unless I bring the baby, but it's still a lot of fun, and it gets me to be social, and I get to talk about books with other people. Good book, cute. I really enjoyed it. Didn't like that there weren't designated chapters, but I can deal with that. Slight spoiler, So I'll put my hand up here, and when I put my hand down, you can, like, if you want to skip the spoiler, I'll put my hand down when I get done. But the girl in the story gets pregnant, and she does not get pregnant having sex. And I thought it was cool that, especially since this is not a YA book, it's an adult book, I thought it was cool that it shows that, you know, that's a thing, and, you know, it's not all stereotypical and everything. Another thing, was it this book? I think it was this book. Yeah, it was this book. Another thing was, after she had the baby, and this might be a gross thing too, so if you want to skip that, skip to with my hands down. But after she had the baby, she mentioned having to have a giant Kotex, a giant pad. And I thought that was cool, because that's one of those things that you never see in books. Books don't mention stuff like that, or having periods, or having to go to the bathroom, or taking a bath. They just don't. So I thought it was really cool that that was actually mentioned, because until my sister had a kid, I didn't even know that was a thing. And even then, I didn't know the extent of how much of a thing it was until I had one. So, yeah. Just some things that were added that aren't typically in books that I appreciated being there for weird reasons, if that even makes sense. I don't know. Whatever. I'm going to try and get the next page of Goodreads to load. I am killing my voice. Oh. And like I said, I'll do a part 2 of July, unless I don't read anything else, which I will. It's me. I've got I got half a week. I'll be reading at least one more thing. Ooh, excuse me. Okay. I read Lumberjanes Volume 6, Sink or Swim by Shannon Waters. I gave this one 4 stars. The more I read these, the more I'm enjoying them. They're really good. I read Healthy Gut, Flat Stomach, Low FODMAP Recipes for Better Digestion by Danielle Capolino. This was 3 stars. If you're interested in dieting stuff, I read this for Alex, and it was an interesting concept, and it had some good recipes in the back too. So even if you just look at it for the recipes, it's good. But yeah, if you're interested in diet books, this one I would recommend. Then I read All's Well That Ends Well by William Shakespeare. I gave this 4 stars. Like I said, I read this for the... Hi, Phobos. He ran into my hand, and there he is. Like I said, I read this for the book club I started on Goodreads, and I will try to link that below. I really enjoyed that. I'm a big Shakespeare nerd. We're also currently watching All's Well That Ends Well, that was filmed in the Globe, so that's pretty good too. Yeah. Then I read Deadly Storm, which is the Derek Storm graphic novels number 1 by Richard Castle, and it's 4 stars. That's the only author name I could find, but if you watch Castle on TV, the main character writes these books, and these are the graphic novel adaptations of the books that don't exist. Really enjoying these. I've only watched the show a little bit because it has Nathan Fillion in it, but I know a little bit about it enough. I'm really enjoying these. They're really good. It's making me wish the books were real so I could read them, honestly. Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Twilight Season 8, Volume 7 by Brad Meltzer, 4 stars. This one had a couple aspects that I liked more, but it's still the same thing I said about the others. Lock and Key, Volume 3, Crown of Shadows by Joe Hill, 5 stars. Loving this series. Cannot say it enough. Loving this series. Sweet Tooth, Volume 3, Animal Armies by Jeff Lemire, 4 stars. This is when I really, really started getting into it, and still really enjoying it. Bully, which is book 1 in the Fall Away series, by Penelope Douglas, 2 stars. This is a new adult book, but it's set in high school, so that felt a little weird to me. But whatever. spoilers. I'm going to do the thing where I hold my hand up until the spoilers are gone. She is best friends with this kid when they're kids, and then they start high school, and he's terrible to her. Like, emotionally, psychologically abusive, terrible to her. And her junior year, 11th grade, whatever that is, of high school, she studies abroad for the whole year. She's in France. It's great. She's away from him. And then her senior year, she comes back. By the end of the book, they're dating and doing stuff. And I'm like, okay, I know he apologized, and I know there were reasons for why he was acting that way, but he was being horrible. He was being abusive. Who cares? Yeah, he apologized. That's great. Maybe you can be friends. Maybe. But why are you dating him? Why? So, yeah. I would say look up trigger warnings for this book. And if it doesn't say it, I would put a trigger warning for emotional, possibly psychological abuse. I was angry at this book. I'm going to read the next book in the series, so we'll see, but I gave this 2 stars for a reason. And it almost got 1 star, but I don't remember what it did. It did something that got it its 2nd star back, but 2 stars. That's it. Okay. Yeah, I had problems with that book. I think I drove Alex nuts ranting about it while I was reading it. Because, like, I'd heard that one was really good, too. I'm waiting for the page to load. I'd heard that one was really good, too, and they didn't have it at my old library, and I moved up here, and they didn't have it here, and I finally ordered it out of system, and I was excited to read it, and it was just, like, it was bad. Like, as in what happened was bad. Yeah. Oh, load already. Okay. We're getting there. Chew, Volume 4, Flambe by John Layman. 5 stars. Again, I just love this series. It's great. Cannot wait for the next one. Storm Season, which is the Derek Storm graphic novels number 2 by Richard Castle. 4 stars. Again, still really enjoying these. Username Uprising by Joe Sugg. 4 stars. I think that's Phobos. Hi, Phobos, but I think that's the last one in that series. It was really good. It had a good conclusion, but it still left room for, if you want to do more later, you can. But the conclusion was very good and conclusive. Yes, I did that on purpose. Awakened, which is book 1 in the Vampire Awakenings series by Brenda K. Davies. I gave this 4 stars. It's kind of obviously a vampire book. There were some aspects of the vampire mythology that were slightly different than the standard. Not like crazy, weird, glittery vampires without fangs. Not Twilight. But just slight tweaks or explanations, which was really cool. I enjoyed that a lot. It was like, I would call it a new adult, kind of smutty. But I enjoyed it. I mean, for what it was, it's junk food, but for what it was good. And I'm looking forward to reading the next book. I had to get this out of system from my library, so I ordered the next one out of system, so I'm hoping they'll be able to get it. But it was good. Free 4, Tobias Tells the Divergent Story by Divergent series, book 1.5 by Veronica Roth. This was 5 stars. It was really good. I think I might have read it somewhere else, but it was good. I enjoyed reading it. Just a short little novella. And then We Can Be Mended, a Divergent story. This is like an epilogue to the series by Veronica Roth. I gave this 4 stars. And it's not the book's fault. It was a novella again. It's not the book's fault that I gave it 4 stars, but if you haven't read Divergent, spoilers, doing the thing with my hand again. I'll put my hand down when the spoilers are gone. I forgot Tris died in the last book. Somehow I forgot that. So I was sad about that. And then I was happy that Tobias found somebody else by the end of the novella and that like he was happy and everything. But I wanted him to be with Tris. And she's a Divergent. And they could make, have kids and more Divergents and everything. And I forgot Tris died. And I was sad again. But yeah, it was a good novella. The Black Monday Murders, Volume 2 by Jonathan Hickman. 3 stars. This series is weird. Kind of interesting, but really weird. Yeah, this just came out not that long ago, so I'll probably read the next one because I don't like to DNF stuff, but it's just odd. I actually read 2 poetry collections. I read The Princess Saves Herself and this one by Amanda Lovelace. 4 stars. I really enjoyed this. I'm normally kind of like, on poetry, but a lot of this was really good. A lot of it, I was reading it, well, I don't know about a lot of it, but some of the poems I was reading, I'm like, oh yeah, I agree with this, and that sort of thing. The one thing I'll say about this and the next thing is I got them on Hoopla, which is a digital borrowing aspect of my library, and the formatting sucks. Yeah, but yeah, I actually really enjoyed this. And then I read The Witch Doesn't Burn in this one by Amanda Lovelace. I gave it 4 stars too. There wasn't as many poems in there that I related to, but I still found some that I related to and agreed with. Same thing with the formatting on Hoopla, but yeah, it was good. I look forward to reading the next one. And I've got her husband's poetry collection checked out on Hoopla right now. I just haven't started it yet. Okay, the last page is loading. Do you guys prefer wrap-ups like this, or would you rather me just do videos on each thing? I don't know if I could make myself do videos on each thing. I could do short, spoilery videos on each thing, I suppose. Would you guys rather have that, or would you rather have like a wrap-up like this and occasional reviews? I don't know. Maybe I can do a poll if I remember. Come on, load. No, that actually worked. I read Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Last Gleaming, Season 8, Volume 8. I think that's the last one in this, like, season. I'll probably read the other seasons later. I'm just not really interested right now. This is by Joss Whedon. I gave it 4 stars. Yeah, I think that was the last one. Yeah, there were some aspects in this I enjoyed a little bit more, but it was just, like, the same thing I've been saying. Lock and Key, Volume 4, Keys to the Kingdom by Joe Hill. 5 stars. Still loving this series. A Calm Before Storm. Yes, there is no the. It is just A Calm Before Storm. Derek Storm graphic novels, book 3 by Richard Castle. I actually gave this one 5 stars. I'm still really enjoying these, but I like this one a little bit more because there were some other fun aspects. This was another one I read for Alex. The Paleo Primer, A Second Helping, A Jumpstart Guide to Losing Body Fat and Living Primally by Karis Marsden. 4 stars. It's had a lot of really interesting things. It was easy to read. There was not an information overload, and there was a lot of good recipes in the back. Which Alex had me copy out because it was a library book, and we're going to be trying next month, so yay. Marvel's Avengers Infinity War, The Cosmic Quest, Volume 1, Beginning. I don't know why it says Volume 1, unless the movie is Volume 2, because I didn't really see a Part 2 or anything. This is by Brandon T. Snyder. This is 4 stars. This is supposed to be a prequel to the Infinite... River, I'm trying to film. I love you. This is supposed to be a prequel to the Infinity War movie. It was really good. It was funny. It was cute. It was good. I haven't seen Infinity War yet, but from what I'm reading on here, from what I read out of this book, it doesn't seem like it would spoil it, and it is a true prequel, and you can read it before you watch the movie, which is what I chose to do. I really enjoyed it. It was good. Sweet Tooth Volume 4, Endangered Species by Jeff Lemire. This is 4 stars. Still really enjoying these. Lumberjanes Volume 7, A Bird's Eye View by Shannon Waters. 4 stars. Still really enjoying these as well. Yeah, I already told you what I plan on doing as far as wrap-ups. Would you guys like to see TBR videos? Because now that I'm doing the book club thing, I'm considering doing that. Beyond that, my voice is dying. Don't forget to subscribe. Questions, comments, opinions on any of the books or anything I mentioned, please leave in the comments. I'd love to discuss that with you guys. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time, or hopefully I can talk again. Bye.